Warning, the following video will contain spoilers for an episode of Miraculous Ladybug Season 2. If you want my recommendation, watch the episode I am watching before continuing on with this video. But if you don't care about spoilers, then just sit back and enjoy.
It's always been you! Every single thing that has gone wrong throughout this marathon all circles back to you. I try to beef up security, you invent an AI that screws me over. I try to keep a friendship with someone I haven't seen in a while, you make her lose all trust in me. I try to be healthier, you throw out the toaster oven and replace it with 2 air fryers.
Okay, that wasn't me.
I know, but my point still stands! Dude, it was an accident. A glitch in her server or something. Oh, don't give me any of that! You were in control of her, you had to have anticipated that I would have said something along those lines and waited for the right moment to play that crap! Because why would you need to put Rita in the theater room, let alone have her control the projector? And furthermore, why didn't you let me know that she could hear me as I was ranting about her? Again. You knew I was against AI. More so nowadays with ChatGPT, AI art, and voiceover, and don't even get me started on Lucky the Clockbot. Oh, there's a special level of hell for that bucket of bolts! And again, the fact that you chose to build her in spite of this tells me all I need to know. At this point, I just think you invented Rita just to sabotage any help I can get. You're basically helping me, but in reverse.
Trying to connect this to the episode?
I have all the shame. Dude, you could have just shut your mouth, but no, you just had to keep on spewing out everything in the name of the truth. Just like you did with that speech scene. And why am I thrown under the bus when he gets let off scot-free for sparking that? I apologize for that! I didn't know what I was thinking and I regret letting his phone number out like that. You, on the other hand, don't want to take accountability for anything that has happened up until this point. Why should it be your fault for something he said? He's the one who demoted himself to Paris's biggest punchline on camera when he could have just appreciated Ladybug's efforts to protect it.
Or stay silent on the matter. That would have been a better option.
Music critic. Get rid of Rita. Shut her down, disconnect her, wipe her from your hard drive. I don't care what you do. I just don't want her in my house anymore. And please, stop trying to help me. You've done enough damage as is. What is with you, music critic? Can the Ladybug come out to play?
Hello everybody and welcome back to my Miraculous Marathon. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome the newest addition to the ASLB family, Bufy the Depression Slayer. He is an emotional support demon that I decided to adopt because, well, you ever have that long stretch of time where you're just super depressed and hopeless for whatever reason, and then one day something happens to give you the tiniest bit of hope, and then at the very last possible moment, right as you're feeling very, very confident that nothing can go wrong, something goes horribly wrong to snuff the hope right in front of you, all because of one person's idiotic idea? Anyways, episode 17 Reverser. So we open this episode with the introduction of a new character, Marc and Nathaniel, who was introduced earlier in the music video for Frightening Gale, further proving that even the best of us can have rough beginnings. This guy was inspired by one of Thomas Astruc's former friends, Hope Morphin. I hope I pronounced that right. A gender-fluid painter, pianist, makeup artist, and cosplayer who met Thomas on Twitter and did a few jokes with him until they met at a convention. They would serve as a model for his drawings, and at one point Thomas asked them who their favorite character is. They said Nathaniel, and he told them the crew was looking for an androgynous model to serve as the basis for his boyfriend. So he asked if they could serve as that model, and this was the result. Upon revealing that they were the model, yeah, it really changed her life. maybe not for the best. There were a couple of bad apples in the fandom, I'm not going to name specifics, who were a bit much for them, and it led to them being a bit paranoid. After a while, they would end up leaving the fandom because of it, and like I said in my ephemeral flag incident video, when she responded to somebody talking about the flag, Tommy Boy went full-blown Tommy Boy and blocked them. Like, I don't even have a joke for this. I'm still sorry that happened, Hope. Nowadays, they just jump from part-time job to part-time job, and they also go to drag shows, and I must say, they're pretty good, not gonna lie. Side note, thank you so much, Hope, for answering my questions. It really helped out a lot. And in the English dub, he's voiced by Kyle McCarley, who also voices Mob from Mob Psycho 100, Tadano from Komi Can't Communicate, Young Hellbrand from Seven Deadly Sins, Yushiro the Demon Simp from Demon Slayer, and of course, Best Boy 9S from Nier Automata. Yes, I am a fan of the game, how could you tell? Anyways, Marc is a writer who, well, writes Ladybug fanfiction for some reason. And speaking of Spotty McCrazy, she finds him writing under the stairs, not my first pick for a writing spot, and encourages him to come to the art room to show off his writing skills. Yeah, there's a full-blown after-school art club in Francois Dupont. Room 33, where students come in to flex their creativity, like Rose writing lyrics for Kitty's section, which given it's her, it's probably going to be about unicorns. It's like Mod Pie's poetry, it's all the same and it's all draining.
They're all about rocks.
Alex practicing graffiti. Hey, speaking of Nier Automata! I wish I gave Kara Buckland more credit for her roles. And the tomato boy himself, Nathaniel.
This is a team-up of Ladybug and Mighty Illustrator.
Okay, Nath isn't good at coming up with names. Yeah, Nathaniel's drawing comics based off of Ladybug and Cat Noir, which leads me to a fun fact that I neglected to mention in my Illustrator review. The cover Nathaniel drew at the end of Illustrator was basically reworked from an older drawing Thomas Astruc did of Ladybug in a fake comic book cover for The Many Menace Ladybug. So she is a menace to society! I freaking called it! Actually, have you seen some of these drawings? This was before Ladybug was going to be a kid's show, and as such, some of them can be pretty dark. The one this was based off of had Ladybug about to be gunned down by either cops and criminals, and it doesn't stop there. There's this cover with an early design of Cat Noir that is, to say the least, a far cry from the blonde, pun-loving doofus that we know. Though, why am I getting reminded of Frank Miller's Batman? There's this cover, which I really don't get, being completely honest. There's one where a cop catches Ladybug red-handed. Someone was shot dead in this one, either the early Master Fu or her father. And let's not forget the comic cover where she almost dies from a freaking insecticide! Yeah, that's pretty messed up.
I kinda wish he followed through with it.
Also, nice to see that even in the early days, Tommy Boy was such a classy individual. Jesus Christ. So Marc eventually enters the art club and is welcomed with open arms, but his eyes are drawn to Nathaniel's drawings of Ladybug and Mighty Illustrator. One of them depicts them fighting Queen Wasp. Yeah, this is the cost of doing this marathon in the French order. The production order has this after Queen Wasp, so we're kind of being a bit spoiled here. Though don't worry, I will talk more about her when we get to her. And as he's seeing them in person, he admires them a lot more now, which I do understand given who I'm dating, as he's used the drawings as inspiration for his stories. And this is pretty convenient, as Jean-Pierre Malnatang, God, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, voiced by Todd Haberkorn, lets him know that Nathaniel is looking for a scriptwriter, and Marinette told him he's always writing. Hi, Chloe. Bye, Chloe. But Marc enters panic mode and leaves out of fear. Okay, can I just gush about this guy for a second? Speaking as somebody who has written a ton of reviews and self-indulgent fantasies about me in the Miraculous universe, I do see a bit of myself in Marc. I don't think I'm as talented as him, but the sentiment still remains. In spite of my on-screen persona, I am actually a bit of a nervous wreck in real life. Just with a bit more shouting. Oh my god! I don't hold a lot of pride in my work, and I'm very nervous about what others think of that work. Hell, I could barely receive compliments without putting myself down. And hey, I would end up meeting a talented artist who was a fan of my reviews, and we would end up collaborating on a few comic shorts. And fall in love, of course. Yeah, there's no dancing around it. I can confidently say that Marc is easily my favorite side character, and easily my favorite new addition to this season. Like, there is no comparing him to Wayne Ace the Mayonnaise or Lou Berry. Marc is a precious boy who deserves to be protected at all costs. Especially given! So Marinette picks up the notebook and has a read of what Marc wrote down, and while she acknowledges it's not the most accurate thing in the world, she still calls it a fun read. Even though the story's about Ladybug considering cheating on Cat Noir and replacing him as a partner with Mighty Illustrator. Our hero, ladies and gentlemen!
Ladybug has become a source of inspiration.
Yeah, she inspires me to become an alcoholic. Later on, she meets up with Marc and hands him back the notebook, admitting she read it and enjoyed it. She suggests showing it to Nathaniel so they can write a comic book together, but Marc's worried that he isn't going to like it and will be super humiliated. So Marinette comes up with a plan that totally won't go wrong despite all the evidence to the contrary.
We'll have him read it without telling him who wrote it.
Uh-huh, yeah, nice idea. Hey, out of curiosity, what was that story called again?
Diary of Ladybug?
Remember how I said I was learning how to do music production as of recently? Yeah, I think now's about the time that you heard the remix. And I know I typically associate this with Lady Wi-Fi, but screw it, play the Tetris music, I'm about to rant. You know, I may be harsh on Marinette, but I usually give her the benefit of the doubt when she screws up big time or displays some characteristics that, well, I'm bound to throw shade at her for. Even correcting myself when I admittedly blame her for something completely out of her control. Like Kung Fu, Bafana, even Puppeteer. But I am not excusing how stupid of a move this is! Like, you can see the warning signs here! The story's called Diary of a Ladybug. It's from Ladybug's point of view. It's about how she has a bit of a crush on Mighty Illustrator. Marinette knows Nathaniel's been obsessed with drawing Ladybug ever since Evil Illustrator. Even Chloe says it outright! How could she not see this as ending in disaster? Yes, she does justify it by saying that if he likes it, it's a win-win, and if he doesn't, Marc could live with the shame and anonymity, which I could somewhat understand. But with a title like this without featuring an author credit, Marinette not even trying to communicate.
Hey, this is a fictional story written from Ladybug's point of view by someone who wants to work with you.
Please don't get your hopes up.
Coupled with his love for Ladybug and the fact that Marinette pretty much toyed with his heart in Evil Illustrator! And yes, I know I asked when Marinette has ever led Nathaniel on in the Evil Illustrator review, but I didn't even realize. Yeah, she played him like a damn fiddle in that episode! Basically going to the birthday party, making it seem like she's interested in him, but she's really trying to de-evilize him and take away his powers. Yes, he was akumatized, but he was still a sincere sweet tomato who had a crush on this human equivalent of tangled up earphones. She and Tiki even acknowledged that they're going to crush this crush like guys! And from what Jar Jelly told me, and this is just what she said, I wasn't there for it so I can't really verify it, there were people angry at Nathaniel for this? Yeah, it was a bit much for him to rip up that notebook, but given what Marinette did to him in the past and, you know, the fact that it's called Diary of Ladybug and was about her wanting Nathaniel to be her partner behind Cat Noir's back, why wouldn't he be angry? In the past, I've said that Marinette's biggest fault was not thinking about the consequences of her actions before she does them. And honestly, I'd say that this is the most damning example of this sentiment so far. It was so frustrating that it knocked this episode by a few pegs upon rewatch
because I was just getting infuriated by this plot point. Infuriated by Marinette being this stupid. Infuriated by her not communicating that this wasn't an actual diary that Ladybug wrote, especially after what she did in Illustrator. Infuriated by how much I relate to it nowadays. I'll never be ready at this rate. So after the plan predictably goes foobar, the inevitable happens. Hawkmoth sends an Akuma that akumatizes Mark's book and turns him into Reverser. And all cynicism aside, I still freaking love this design. The outfit that's almost origami-like, the paper airplane glider which has me longing for him to say something along the lines of, "Can the Ladybug come out to play?" And even his color scheme being inverted on one half of his body, though it does result in an unintended detail that once you notice, you will never... If you thought Mr. Pigeon's head shape was bad enough, how about a serious case of ireola? Credit to Hope for pointing this out. As for his powers, he can use his paper airplanes to reverse, well, whatever the writers feel is best for the story. Yes, there are some that make sense, like having a bike rider be unstable, have a bunch of artists become what I could only describe as dystopian art destroyers. Hi, Chloe. Why, Chloe? Making Roger a bad cop. Oh, wait, no. No, he was a bad cop before. Making Andre a bad. Oh, wait, no. No, he was bad before. Making Ladybug a okay, the joke writes itself. But then there's making everyone who loves Marinette hate her. I mean, first off, let's be honest, we don't really need him for that. Wait until next season. And second, what? I mean, we get to see it with Mr. Ramier. The pigeons who love him now want nothing to do with him, but usually the reversion affects the person itself and not the viewpoints of others. So how does this... Okay. Caught myself before. Son of a... Okay, I still like this villain from a design standpoint. It's just that we have a bit of a Frightening Gale problem where there's no clear set rule as to how his powers work. I just want to stress that he's nowhere near as brain-gougingly obnoxious as that rhyming, singing tumor that doesn't even sing. It's just that it could have been a bit better, or at the very least a little bit clearer. But if nothing else, it does lead to Ladybug being turned into Marinette, and Cat Noir from puss to wuss. Yet another line I hope someone got a raise for. And Cat Noir being turned into...
I really don't want to fight that bad guy. He looks so mean.
The Cowardly Kitten, which is easily one of the highlights of the episode, and no, it's not because of Schadenfreude. Okay, there's a little Schadenfreude from this, but because... I mean, come on! Ladybug can barely take a foot forward before eating pavement, and Cat Noir's like a scared little kitten who was abandoned by his mother, and I want to adopt him and take care of him.
I think I just put myself on several watch lists saying that. I am sorry, people.
So with the duo in a state where they are less capable of being heroes than before, and let's be honest, they were already pretty incapable, they set out to find Nathaniel so he can help them out. They search the school to no avail, but they realize the Louvre is in a lot of his drawings, so they assume he would hang there. Short answer... he is. I mean, he's an artist, of course he would. And hey, Alex is hanging with him, man. To give this episode a bit of credit, Alex and Nathaniel were two characters that stood out to me amongst the rest of the students, and seeing them interact with each other was a genuinely pleasant surprise, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, yeah, all the classmates, minus the obvious, are relatively close friends, but still, the punk skater girl and the introverted illustrator was a pairing I was not expecting to see, but again, I genuinely enjoyed their interactions.
It's not like her to make fun of other people. Huh, silly me. You don't have any taste. I mean, look at what you're wearing.
So the heroes, in massive quotes, flop their way to the redheads, and yes, I know Alex is more pink, but let me have this. I am fresh out of hope and I need something to fill in this void. And then immediately we get a news report showing the mayor canceling a space trash program, which will cause Paris to be buried in trash.
It's already too late. Yeah, I know I said he made Andre into a bad mayor earlier, but what he actually did was reverse the mayor's decision to keep a bunch of trash in space. Something that Thomas Astruc would end up predicting Jeffrey Bezos saying, and proceed to gloat about like nothing else. Stay classy, Tommy boy. And Reverser not only demands the duo to give up their Miraculous, but bring Nathaniel and Marinette with them. But he's gonna have to settle with just Nathaniel. Cause it's not like Marinette and Ladybug are the same person. It's not like the writers are trying to add salt to the wounds. It's not like I need you to get me to a hospital again! And in another pleasant surprise, Alex decides to help out, not just because the duo are somehow a bigger hot mess than usual, but because she's not willing to let Nathaniel be hurt. Gotta admit, this is a pretty badass move on Alex's part. Maybe it could lead to—
you will be an awesome team leader, the greatest superhero ever.
Let's hear the best line in the episode.
You're a public health hazard!
Coming from someone with the power to
Kill anything he touches.
So the Stumbling Flea, Burrito Blonde, Tomato Boy, and Miss Totally a Family Heirloom make it to the Eiffel Tower, and Ladybug uses her lucky charm. And what does she summon the time? I wish that was an anvil. So Ladybug cuts a deal to give Reverser Cat Noir so he can reverse the mayor to bring the trash back, and only then can she surrender her Miraculous and Nathaniel. But Reverser wants Nathaniel as part of the package deal so he can reverse him, so he can have no choice but to work on the comic. Yeah, it's not as egregious as the Everyone Hates You reversion, but between this and the mayor, you see what I mean about him reversing whatever the writers think works best? The flea relents and decides to send him up.
You have to trust me.
That's what got Marc akumatized in the first place!
What trick do you actually think I could pull, Reverser?
That's what got me to lose in the first place. And the trick they can pull is 50 Shades of Noir, winner of all the Razzies and paving the way for films like Cuties to be made. What is wrong with people? Anyways, Cat Noir takes a leap of faith and Alex flies him around to get him to Cataclysm the Glider, releasing the Akuma. Back to normal, rescue Marc, insert status quo you've seen here, a very to the point makeup between Tomato and Marc, and I do mean to the point, and then fist bump.
Found it!
Another day, another attack, another victory for the Miraculous duo, and another adorable gay couple in the making. Yeah, I'm burying the lead. In case the Pride Month comic didn't make it clear enough. Yeah, I ship the hell out of these two. They're both adorable, nervous wrecks that just work so well together given their talents and... Come on, look at them! The only problem is, from here on out, we barely get to see their relationship in action. At least I think. I still haven't seen season 5. Well, that didn't age well! We cut back to room 33, cleaned up after it got Fahrenheit 451, and Marc and Nath have finished up their comic, which ends with Mighty Illustrator taking down Reverser and having him team up with the duo. I don't need any more depression in my life. Why? And they give the first signed copy to Marinette. Just play it.
Who would make a superhero if she wasn't such a klutz.
How the hell could you not recognize the Marinette as Ladybug?
I mean, Marinette is a klutz, so I doubt she could be Ladybug.
And yet when you klutzified her, you didn't get reminded of her!
She was way more klutzy than Marinette at that point. Plus, she's got a mask, and Marinette doesn't.
Oh, for the love of God. How many times do I have to—
Wait a minute. Your name's Austin, right? Weren't you the guy that broke Nathaniel's mind? And didn't you take the duo's Miraculous at one point?
Yes?
Marc, are you talking to Austin?
Yeah.
How did he even get your phone number?
Actually, that's a good question. How did you...
Yeah, my opinion on this episode is soured. I don't want to be 100% negative on this because... yeah, Marc's my favorite new addition to the series. I enjoy and relate to his character, I enjoy his villain form, even if the powers feel a little bit lax in how they work, and yeah, I ship him and Nathaniel hard. It was nice to see Nathaniel and Alex interact and actually help the duo out, and come on, the Stumbling Flea and Burrito Blonde are just hilarious. It's just how we got here frustrates me way more now, especially given what will come later and what completely went over my head in Illustrator. And even still, like, come on! She had to have known! There had to be some gut feeling that this is going to go wrong! Hell, I'm more shocked at them forgiving Marinette in spite of this setup than I am...
If she wasn't such a klutz.
That hammer to the temple. And to Marc, assuming you're not still mad at me for finding your phone number through means that I will not disclose, I'm really sorry that this happened, and best piece of advice... just try to distance yourself from her. Like, if she's not a menace, then she is a liability to you and your partner. And everyone else for that matter. Why is she our hero? I won't say that I'm as bitter towards this episode as I am Bafana, which is still better than Frightening Gale. I've seen it again and I still stand by it. But man, the way he got akumatized in this episode bothers me even more now. Especially with the gift of foresight, and especially given my situation here! I'll see you guys in Anansi when I restart my training. Oh my god. Nickelback, save me!
Hold it! I just want to give one last message before closing out. To my US audience, especially those in the LGBTQ community, 2025 is a scary time for us all. Believe me, in spite of what I'm going through in the storyline, it's nothing compared to what's going on in my country. I know there is a ton of panic out there given what the government is doing, and believe me, I'm just as scared as you are, so my best piece of advice to all of those who are afraid, don't give up. Keep fighting the good fight, look out for each other, and take care of yourselves. Don't stay silent on this matter, and we can get through this. We've gone through 2016, we've gone through 2018, 2020, and any other hellscape of a year we can think of. We can't back down now. And to everybody outside of the US who might be watching this, he doesn't represent us. And he sure as hell doesn't represent me. So with all that said, this is ASLB, and I've got nothing else to say other than have a great life, stay miraculous, happy Pride Month, and see ya. Huge thanks to Hope for answering my questions, as well as Stud VA and ZPTube for providing their voices for Marc and Nathaniel. And as per usual, like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more.
It's rude to spy on people.
But it's okay for you to sneak up on people and give them a surprise?